The other thing I wanted to touch on real quick, remember FinCEN, which was the federal agency, that is basically tasked with monitoring financial crimes and things of that nature. 2 years ago, there was a big move through the federal government that if you owned an LLC, you had to disclose the beneficial ownership of the owners of that LLC. Well, that didn't last very long. So when everybody had to jump to make sure that certain things were disclosed to the federal government by making the FinCEN registration, that got put on hold through various lawsuits and eventually repealed. Now, coming back to that, just effective this past March, FinCEN said, now if you're a real estate investor and you're transferring property and there is not a federally regulated mortgage involved, so if it was a cash deal or perhaps a hard money finance transaction, that you had to file what's called a real estate report with FinCEN, which basically identified to the government that, who the parties were, the buyer, and who the owners of that buyer's entity was. So if it went into a trust or an LLC or a corporation, you had to do this disclosure again. That went into effect March 1st. I know it had title companies up in the air because it kind of put the burden on title companies to make sure that this filing was done before any transfers occurred. And here we are, March 27th? And there's already been a lawsuit filed, and the Court of Appeals have put an injunction on that. So right now, you don't have to file that real estate report. It could change pending, the outcome of the pending litigation. But, right now, you don't have to do it. And then here's the thing. So a lot of us own real estate. We buy it in our own names, and then we want to transfer it into an LLC that we own for asset liability protection, anonymity purposes, things like that. Or you're just running it as a rental, as a business. Now, if you were just transferring it for no money changing hands into your LLC, the way that the FinCEN law is currently written, and if it's reinstated, you have to do that disclosure on every deed transfer. So the fact that we don't have to do this right now is a good thing, but we have to stay tuned to see what happens in the next few months.